to solicit contributions for a legal defense fund for Brother Farouk Abdul Ahad. We have previously mailed a brochure to you listing the MSA address in Sacramento, California, which is receiving the contributions. We pray that Allah will protect each of us and reward us for our sincere efforts to serve Him, to oppose injustice and stand for the right. Believe it or not, listening to them in those days was a little different than now. They actually had some Islam, you could tell.
Right. Yeah.
This is Brother Abdul Ahad. It used to be Freddie Payne. He got out of prison, he got married, he was living a good life, and some youngsters moved on him. And he blew them away. That was his. Now, he had just got out of prison after doing about 25 years, because we was in a riot together in 64 in prison, 64. And I think he had just got out, it was probably 2 years after that, because my son told me, yeah, brother, when they was in prison together, he said, Brother Farouk got all the paperwork from that riot y'all was in 64, and it said, you know, it'd give a list of the names of the people who went to the hole and stuff like that. But anyway, the point I'm making, this is the Islamic Society of North America. They saying our brother's coming around and talking to y'all about it. He wants to make you familiar with the plight of one of our brothers. We were brothers, believe it or not, and not dictatorial, you go our way or, you know, our way or the highway. It wasn't quite like that at all. They felt an affinity. See, the Muslims were so few. When you saw another Muslim, you were happy. Like when we used to see black people a long time ago, hey man, that's where this come from. You know, it was actually like down here. Now they put it way up here. But it was, yeah, you know, like, all right. You actually were happy. Yeah, you know, and then a little while later, where's everybody at, man? Where's all the black people in this town? Oh, they over such and such and such. And you get there and you're happy. The smells, the sound, you at home. That was not a bad feeling. It was pretty good. It was really when you had an affinity for the black community. Just think, the white community didn't want you in their community. So you stayed in your own folks and fixed up everything. Just imagine, you came up with the best food, the little pork here and there, the best music, right? You came up with the best music, let's say, in the world, because everybody, I don't care where you go now, even they listen to this stuff now. I don't support it, but they listen to it. But jazz, all of that stuff, the Temptations, you could go anywhere in the world and they would be blasting it. So, when they talk about integration, you know, it was in the 80s, they said we made a mistake. I don't know if you ever heard that. I haven't heard that. We made a mistake. All the big folks was. NAACP, all of them were saying, man. Because remember, when the integration, the black stores disappeared, the black newspapers were disappearing. I think the last one around here is African American somewhere, and they almost got to give it away. They get, you know what I mean? It's all our institutions. I said, man, in those days, everybody lived in the black community. The doctors, the lawyers, everybody. They had a bigger, better house. They may even have a little corner of the neighborhood and a few more the Sadidi, we used to call them the Sadidi folks and all that. They existed, but they was right there with you. And you saw them, Dr. So-and-so. Can you imagine? Even the doctor would come to your house. Well, they did to everybody. Can you imagine the days when the doctors came to your house with a real black bag, with a bag, stethoscope and all of that? That was up until the 70s, maybe the 80s or so. Up until the 70s, a little bit. But before, you didn't go to no hospital to see the doctor. The doctor came to see, go get the doctor. And they run get the doctor. Anyway, so the people said, this brother's coming by to let you know about. Now, they didn't set up an account for this. Can you imagine this now? You think they set up accounts for Imam Jamil? Imam Jamil was the head of the Shura. He was the head of the Shura. Isna, Ikna, the chiefs folks, right? And his committee, the national committee. He was the emir of the Shura. I went to Musa Siddiqui's office right away. I went around raising money for Imam Jamil. And Musa Siddiqui gave me a check. And he just put, I said, no, make it out for Imam. He wasn't gonna put no Imam Jamil on. And as I was going around, everybody had questions. What you gonna do with the money? What you mean, what am I doing with the money? That big money fundraiser we had on September the 9th in Irvine, we raised about $100,000. All of a sudden, everybody are asking, looking all up. Somebody said something about the money. I said, yeah, just give me the money. What about, I say, you got a phone? You call Imam Jamil's wife. You call Sister Karima and ask her, just talk to her about me. And they called her, yeah. Oh, Imam Musa, shoot, he's showing up on a regular basis. And, just to let people know that what is wrong with y'all. All of a sudden, we're gonna make a big hit. And now y'all getting nervous about it. Because you don't want to give too much money in the Negro's hand. That's why when the brother the other day told me somebody gave him $40,000 on this and such in cash, I said, that's nice. And I actually believe it. From time to time, I sure do. But anyway, sometimes they gave me the money, other times they sent it to their address. But it wasn't no big deal. That gives us a lot of, so we're able to track the transitions from this type of thing. On one of the things I got, I didn't bring it. Dr. Brother, when it, the thing I have about how to pump the FBI, I have Dr. Brother on it. Okay, because at first, imagine we all brothers. And since they're young, they're going to school, Arabs, Pakistanis, we sleep in the Masjid sometime, and all that stuff. And then they finish university, and one of the brothers down in Tennessee. So I said, you see many of the brothers? He said, Dr. Brothers. Now they're doctor. We was all brothers. Now they Dr. Brothers. That was in the mid-'80s. I I said, well, that's the way it goes. But anyway, let me speed up a little bit. Counterterrorism blog, Steve Emerson Investigative Project, catches radical Islamic cleric on tape supporting terrorism. Last night, Sean Hannity and Fox News revealed videotape taken by Steve Emerson's investigative project on terrorism of Imam Abdul Ali Musa of Washington, D.C., openly supporting terrorism. Musa has a long history of supporting terrorists and expressing hatred of America. On September the 9th, at the University of California, Irvine, he said, you think Zionism and Palestine is the only dictatorial power in the world? We're telling you about apartheid right here in America. Not an apartheid of the 60s, but an apartheid right now today. When you fight old Sam, you're fighting someone who is superior in criminality and Nazism. That's supposed to be American. Sam, Uncle Sam. Of course, you knew that, didn't you, Uncle Sam?
Right,
Sam.
yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to make the connection. Musa was there to speak on a benefit for Imam Jamil Al-Amin after his conviction of murdering an Atlanta police officer in July 1999 rally. At age of 9, 1999 rally, Musa openly displayed a cashier's check made out to Hamas to protest the declaration of Hamas as a terrorist organization in 1996. I did. I got just a couple $100 check, cashier's check, and it has for Hamas on there. And I held it up at other things. I said, this is, because I wanted them to arrest me on these old dumb charges so I can deal with them. It's just like the cases, stuff we have now, this more and more and more. Don't slow down, more. Just build up one dumb thing after another. So anyway, this old Hannity, well, I'm going to read it for a little bit. Last night, Hannity showed 2002 clip taken by the IPT, something or other, of Musa supporting Palestinian suicide terrorists, saying at a rally, they are not suicide bombers, they are heroes. And Hannity challenged Musa in an interview to explain his views. Musa denied that Osama bin Laden was responsible for 9/11 attacks and asserted that OBL, Osama bin Laden, is on the American payroll. He denied that Hezbollah is a terrorist organization and said Hamas, they are nice people, very nice people. So you can imagine, now imagine they used to dealing with handkerchief-headed Negroes and scarified people. You say, oh no, Hamas, that's our homeboys, da-da-da-da, on and on and on. And we love them, which we do. Anyway, this is the one Hannity was trying to lie and say that I said certain things. You know, burn America down. And they just, yeah, they took care of it. The feds told him he ain't said that. He said that they said, Imam Jamil them said, burn, baby burn, you know. And that's what I said. Anyway, revolution from Egypt to the Americas, we'll just keep going on that. We've been dealing with that. What are death threats being issued against Imam Abdul Ali Musa, and why is Oakland police siding with the saboteurs and agent provocateurs trying to disrupt the activities of Masjid al-Islam? Imam Musa's grandson was shot and killed, and his son was shot and critically wounded. Those targeting him are determined to silence him because he refused to be cowed by terror tactics. Then it just says, the founder of Masjid al-Islam and one of the leading figures in the Islamic movement in North America, Imam Musa, have received death threats. While based in D.C., he has had to spend considerable time in Oakland because of sabotage of Masjid al-Islam property. The death threats were issued the morning as Imam Musa was doing his early morning jog in the mountains of California. He was told, we got Imam Jamil Alameen, and parentheses, locked up forever. We took care of Imam Lukman, assassinated in Detroit. And nigga, you're next, use a derogatory term. Imam Musa was planning to hold a meeting in Oakland later that day, but was forced to cancel. I did cancel just for the heck of it. Imam Musa was planning to hold. Reporting the matter to the police would not help because the police are involved in this war on Imam Musa and Masjid al-Islam. Agent provocateurs working for the police and U.S. intelligence agencies have been trying to disrupt his work. He is forced to spend considerable period of time in California as a consequence. In other words, it talks about the masjid being vandalized and what have you, and it goes on to say, he must not be abandoned. Listen, Muslims worldwide concerned about fairness, justice, should reach out to Imam Musa and offer him moral and material support. He must not be abandoned. Muslims must not allow police or its agents to frame him for elimination, God forbid. The forces of zulm and oppression that characterize U.S. policy at home and abroad must not be allowed to silence another committed Muslim like Malcolm X. I'll just skip most of these. This is sabotage, death threats against Imam Musa, grand larceny. That's about changing our accounts. Okay, it ain't no big deal. And here's another one. This is facing attacks and death threats too. You know, when the masjid is attacked, they just outline what happened and what have you. And this is all been printed, and we have them in reserve to pull them out when necessary. And we have the witnesses who called these in. See, we didn't call these in ourselves. We had somebody else call them in. So they would have to be witnesses to all of this. What I'm talking about in general is we living in a very unique time. And in dealing with this period, we're going to have what we call visioneering. And we're going to have to be relentless on helping people understand the possibilities. We're going to have to educate the people on that. We say we because it's scam artists and crooks, like on the black side, it's the Negroes we was talking about the other day. Right. What, the Hotep hustlers? Right. The Hotep hustlers. They are real, they really exist. Anybody put their faith in them is finished. The Negro Muslims, whatever they're doing, I wouldn't want to be a part of it. I just wouldn't want to be a part of it. I'm not going to talk bad about them, but that's pretty sad. And the immigrant community, they're preventing their children from participating in America. They always wanted to be a part of America. And now the immigrants' children, some of them grandchildren, have a chance to play a part in remolding and reshaping America. And they don't know that's the way you get in. That's the way you just get in there with everybody else, and everybody will remember you. You don't have to say anything. We're here to do this. You don't have to do all that. All you got to do is, and half of them are from immigrant families, is be against immigration and be pro this and pro that. Why? Because it's not only you and Indians and everybody else, right? But whether it's Black Lives Matter, all of those things. See, the government, think about which way things are headed. Where are things now headed? Where were they then? Anybody can see the tilt. Anybody can see the shift. When the shift kicks in, the trends, see, here's how we've always been involved in this stuff. You know why? Because it's the trends of history. If you get in a trend, it's just like jumping in a big stream, and it takes you right on, right, with the flow. Because you're in that stream flowing in the right direction. Okay, the people that stand on the bank or refuse to recognize that there is a trend. And remember, a lot of people just don't know. They're non-adventurous. They got all kind of things holding them up. For me, that had been, but I'm gonna say, and I hate to say but they mess with my cars today. They mess with it, you know. So the target, I know who the target is, but I couldn't get any happier. All of the stuff they're doing, they got to be crazy. They are technically insane.
But all of them, they hit all, like, you know.
No, okay, the white car that was there is parked right over there on the corner because we was driving to go to the Home Depot, and I started it up. When I got to the corner, the same old Volvo. So we pushed it over there by the church, and it's parked right over there. Yeah. Okay, it's there now. My other car that we would go downtown in. Yeah. You see how it run? It ain't nothing. It ain't no.
Yeah, that's a good ride.
Yeah, it's good running. It's tight. Everything. Okay, it's parked over by the shrimp boat.
Hey, man.
No, because we drove out and we come back and it's the same thing. Like, did you go out with the brothers when we had that Volvo? We left that Volvo